You can imagine just how frightening it is having a family pet attack your child. Sydney Jollyvet spoke with a local dog trainer who offers his advice on how to ensure your kids and pups play nice.
It's not super common. I'd say 20% of our calls are for aggressive nature dogs.
Keith Jankowski has owned Permian dog training for over 20 years. While he hasn't seen many family dog attacks, they're all...
Okay, I'm sorry. I got to stop already. 20% of your calls is for aggressive dogs. We don't care. That's irrelevant. I'm sorry, that's irrelevant. We got 5 million documented attacks each year in the U.S. alone, period. By now, there's a good 1 million people who need emergency care treatment every year, period. I don't care if you ain't never seen an aggressive dog in your life. Has nothing to do with reality.
I'd say 20% of our calls are for aggressive nature dogs.
Keith Jankowski has owned Permian.
Keith Jankowski. This is a direct challenge of your expertise based on information you gave recently. This media outlet uploaded the video that they featured you on, the video about you, the article, story about you. They uploaded this to their website 14 hours ago. Okay, so this is one of the trainers who has come out in response to the dog attacks that has happened in the past week or two. More like in the past 10 days or so. Shout out to Animals 24/7. Did a pretty good article because they collect a lot of information, statistics that a lot of other people don't. So Jankowski, you gave some misinformation on this video. That's why I'm responding to it. Misinformation that can get people hurt, that falsely demonizes people, young people. So let's deal with it. Okay?
Or aggressive nature dogs.
Keith Jankowski has owned Permian dog training for over 20 years. While he hasn't seen many family dog attacks, there are lots of ways to prevent accidents from happening. He says,
always trying to downplay it. Oh, I've never seen an attack before in my life. Who cares? And how is that? Are you living up under a rock? You must not keep up with the news. Are you deaf, blind, both? If you're a professional and you're in the dog industry, how is it even possible that you're not aware of how often these things attack? And point out 20% of the calls are no. Listen to this. By the time everybody in this country, United States, by the time everybody is 13 years old, 50% of that population has been bitten by a dog. So let's not get into how rare this is. And dogs are usually loving. They're usually a good boy. Stop it. Continue.
Of ways to prevent accidents from happening. He says it all.
You prevent it. Now understand what this man is doing. Basically cutting his own throat. And the article specifies this. He's trying to give the public tips on how to keep youngsters safe from dogs inside the home. Inside the home. How insane is that? I'm going to give you tips on how to keep safe and keep your kids safe inside your home from a dog you've already let in there. Once you let the dog inside the house, you can't lecture them or give them no tips on how to stay safe. You've endangered yourself by having them in the house, period. And anybody can get attacked once it's in the house. Ain't no amount of training gonna stop no attack. But let's listen to him explain to us what really happens.
There are lots of ways to prevent accidents from happening. He says it all starts with understanding boundaries.
Ideally, I instruct parents on boundaries, right? Setting healthy boundaries with the dog. And if
now, who do you think he's instructing dog lovers to look out for? in controlling their boundaries so that they don't violate the other, which would lead to an attack. Who do you think he's talking about right now? The dog learning boundaries or the kid learning boundaries? Notice how they treat their kids like sort of like a prisoner or something. There's certain areas in the home the kid can't go at certain times as well. There's certain things that the kid can't do. Dog can do whatever it wants. He's saying the kid can't walk up to the dog, but the dog can walk up to the kid and anybody else anytime it wants. It gets complete freedom inside the home. Only the kid's freedom get restricted inside the home or outside the home, according to these trainers.
On boundaries, right? Setting healthy boundaries with the dog. And if you have small children in the house, it's hard to train the child, right?
Here we go.
So it's in the beginning until the dog has, exhibited just a base of normal behaviors, but pulling on the ears, pulling on the tail, getting in their face. Dogs are opportunists.
Like clockwork. Now, as I pointed out last night, as I always point out, show us the reports. You just stood there and claimed that pulling on ears and pulling on tails is one of the reasons why young people are attacked. Show the reports. Show the media reports. Let's see them or hear them. It never happens. Dog attacks are never preceded by the kid pulling on their ear or tail. Where are y'all getting this? It's nothing but rhetoric. Con artist propaganda. Almost 100% of dog attacks on victims 13 and under are unprovoked. I'm saying 100%. I've been keeping up with dog attacks for years. 100% of them are 100% unprovoked, no matter if they're outside or inside. What are you talking about? Where are you getting this information? We all got access to dog attacks, and we can all read in those reports. We can all see the ones on film, whether or not they're provoked. You think you can just stand up before the world and say that they're provoked? And we're supposed to believe you? No, it don't work like that.
To train the child, right? So it's in the beginning until the dog has,
What you mean it's hard to train the child? The child can understand language. What are you talking about? If there's one thing that you can do, or individual entity that you can train, it's the child, not the dumb dog. You know that dog gonna go anywhere in that house and do anything it wants.
Exhibited just a base of normal behaviors, but pulling on the ears, pulling on the tail, getting in their face. Dogs are opportunists.
It's dogs that get in people's faces. And why can't a kid walk up to a dog? Why can't the kid walk up to the dog? The dog walks up to them. Like, what are you talking about? Getting in their face. And you telling me that if you bring a dog inside a home where you got kids, you're telling me as long as they don't pull the ears, tails, or get up in their face, they won't get attacked? On what planet are you living? You see how ridiculous they sound? Are you really suggesting? Why don't anything y'all say sound realistic or believable? This is madness. Pulling on the ear, pulling on the tail. He's saying that because he's read that online somewhere, Googled it somewhere, and he read a bunch of trainers. I told you this is what they say, that these attacks come about because the kids are doing something to the dogs. And understand, he is giving an explanation of why dogs attack. He's responding to the most recent attacks. He's not just getting on here giving general information on a whim. This is in response. He's trying to explain the recent attacks. And this is what he got to say. They're pulling on the ears. Why are you even pointing out pulling on the ears or tails when it was not reported that had happened in any of the attacks that took place in the past 4 weeks? None of those attacks involved pulling ears or so what are you talking about? You even pointing that out. Why don't you talk about a kid riding a bike like those kids were? Why don't you talk about that? How do you prevent that? Dog attacking kids when they're out riding a bike, huh? You don't want to touch that. Because then you have to say, hey, the dog just need to get out of the community. And that's what needs to happen. The presence of these things is the problem. Let's continue.
And reactionary.
It is extremely
He said they're opportunists and reactionary. No, they're bullies. Bullies. They attack for fun. They attack and threaten to establish dominance, to communicate, to establish rank in the pack. What are you talking about? Opportunists. Yeah, opportunity to bloodthirst, to be a predator. Boy, they bend over backwards to defend these things at the expense of their own kids.
Getting in their face. Dogs are opportunists and reactionary.
It is extremely important that pet owners know the history of their dog.
Why? When y'all say it's irrelevant, as long as the new owner shows it love, they can all be given a second chance. That's what the stupid no-kill shelter is about. Y'all so hypocritical in your rhetoric. It's about time somebody called y'all out. Get out of here. Make up y'all's mind. What we need the history for, if y'all telling us, oh, we just wanted love. Thousands of videos like that on the dodo. You can tell this dog has been through so much, but now once people showed it love, it gave people a second chance. Get out of here. Let's continue.
Dogs are opportunists and reactionary.
It is extremely important that pet owners know the history of their dog and have a good understanding of what makes them unique before bringing them into their home.
The history is irrelevant. Almost all the dogs that have attacked in the reports you've heard, almost all of them, you got to understand this. This is easy to believe this propaganda. Y'all got to question everything these people say.
And have a good understanding of what makes them unique before bringing them into their home.
Dogs that have never attacked in the past attack in the future all the time. Probably 80% of the time. That's probably the most common thing we hear about dogs that have launched attacks. It's never shown aggression. It's been well socialized. Never even growled at anybody. That's the norm. That's the dominant narrative. So knowing the dog's future its history is essentially irrelevant. It does not get, no matter what you see in its history, it does not give you an idea of how it's going to behave in the future.
You know, you don't know the background of that dog. In a real quick temperament test and a behavior test that we do when we first meet dogs.
And this dude is basing his expertise on temperament tests. I mean, dog lovers themselves have come out and said those things don't work. And I don't need to get into why they don't work. They don't work. Jankowski, if you disagree with my belief that those temperament tests don't work, then let me know. But I'm not going to get into it right now. You just lost a whole bunch of credibility referring to a stupid temperament test.
A quick temperament test and a behavior test that we do when we...
Temperament and behavior. What is that? The same thing. Give it a bowl of food and you try to grab and take the bowl of food with a plastic hand and you want to see if it'll bite the hand. Y'all know full well that if it don't bite that toy hand, that you cannot claim that it won't attack in the future. That's foolish on its face. These foolish, cartoonish tests. Let's continue.
Background of that dog. And a real quick temperament test and a behavior test that we do when we first meet dogs tells us a lot. If the dog's been in a rescue, if it's been in a challenged environment, it's hard without some type of guidance.
Sometimes behavior.
What? What was that?
That dog. And a real quick temperament test and a behavior test that we do when we first meet dogs tells us a lot. If the dog's been in a rescue, if it's been in a challenged environment,
If it's been in a rescue, ain't that a shelter? A rescue, or that's a shelter. You saying if a dog is inside a shelter, there's a greater chance it's going to attack somebody? I don't know how sharing information like that is supposed to help the image of dogs, but okay. If you say so, sir. It really don't matter where their aggression is coming from. It needs to go and they need to go. But that sounds strange. What you talking about? You got dogs basically in the shelter right now. In fact, these little cages that these dogs in, sometimes smaller than the rooms they have in these shelters. Why ain't these dogs here going crazy? What are you talking about, man? Why ain't the ones here being aggressive? Don't nothing they say make sense. Nothing.
tells us a lot. If the dog's been in a rescue, if it's been in a challenged environment.
What is a challenged environment? What is that? Being in a shelter where it's noisy because they always hear other dogs barking and squealing? Is that what y'all saying? If they don't like that type of noise, why do they form packs instinctively? These dogs being around other dogs ain't driving them crazy. It ain't doing nothing to them. They don't know that they're in no shelter. When people adopt dogs, they do the same thing at home that y'all do at the shelters. They spend time in their little cage or crate, and they spend time outside walking. Do the same thing with these shelter dogs. This is not traumatizing these mutants. Continue.
It's hard without some type of guidance.
It's hard without guidance. What does that mean? What people supposed to guide these things to do? To prevent them from attacking people? What type of guidance you talking about? They need lectures? They need to be taken on a walk? Y'all already doing that. They always talking babble and not making sense. I'm sick of that nonsense. I demand people, you make sense. If not, shut up. What you saying ain't making sense.
A rescue, if it's been in a challenged environment, it's hard without some type of guidance.
Sometimes behavior just comes with old age, but
Behavior comes with old. What does that mean? You see what I'm talking about? They always got this magical talk going on, don't make no sense. Speaking in parables. That's what people do when they're being dishonest. Everything they say make you scratch your head. You can't quite put it together. You can't picture it. You can't make sense out of it. It just sounds good to the ear.
Some type of guidance.
Sometimes behavior just comes with old age, but 85% of behavioral issues in pets can be curbed with a healthy dose of activity and training.
85%? We got to hear that again. Listen to this claim.
With old age, but 85% of behavioral issues in pets.
85% of behavioral issues in pets. What are you talking about? What behavioral issue? We talking about attacks right now. Violence. What are you saying? 85% of the dog attacks could have been prevented? Isn't that what he's saying? They could have been prevented with training and what else?
Behavioral issues and
some type of guidance.
With old age, but 85% of behavioral issues in pets can be curbed with a healthy dose of activity and training.
Activity and training? How did you find out that the dogs that have launched these attacks was not getting enough activity. How do you know? How'd you discover that? How do you know they didn't get any training? You don't. Y'all just assume. Every time a dog attacks, you assume it ain't had no training. When some trainers themselves be getting attacked. Y'all gonna stop with that too. Seeing as how many of y'all get attacked yourselves. You claiming that the dogs that y'all train didn't have no training either? Again, why don't nothing y'all say make sense? Everything. I know you don't have to dig. You don't have to stretch. Dogs that have been trained attack people just like the ones who haven't. Period. You can refute me on that too. Let's continue.
The rest comes from a slow and steady process of building trust.
Slow and steady process of building trust. You see, there's this dog magical talk. Dodo language. You speaking dodo right now?
Healthy dose of activity and training. The rest comes from a slow and
Healthy dose of activity and training. What is that? What is that, man?
steady process of building trust.
It would
Trust between who? The dog and the owner?
be the dog on a leash, right? With an adult that's paying attention to the dog's, demeanor.
Okay. People have been attacked by dogs on leashes. So, wrong. Okay? We don't even have to get into how many times people have been attacked where the dog was on a leash before the attack.
Building trust.
It would be the dog on a leash, right? With an adult that's paying attention.
Stop. Some people have been snatched clean off their feet by their dog. Adults.
To the dog's, demeanor, even if it's a friendly dog, right? And starting with touching on the back.
What? Touch on the back for what? And why did he suddenly go into this? I thought he was talking about keeping children safe with family dogs. You giving a tutorial on how to rub on a dog? And look at how weird. This is cringe stuff right here, man.
Starting with touching on the back. Just on the back. So
You want a kid to do this? What are you talking about? You just said, don't get in the dog's face. Where you at right now? Exactly. Now you're giving them a tutorial on how to get in their face and rub on their shoulders, on their back. In this weird, what is this? Lord.
and starting with touching on the back.
This is how you build trust. He trying to tell us how the kid can build trust with the dog. Get in front of it, right in its face, right? And rub on its shoulder. This is weird, man. But let's continue.
The dog's, demeanor, even if it's a friendly dog, right? And starting with touching on the back.
He just randomly went in to rub physical affection. Just out of nowhere. He's supposed to be telling us about building trust and training. This how you do. This the training you talk about. You just said it take proper training and activity. And this, your example. What are you actually trying to suggest here?
Dog on a leash, right? With an adult that's paying attention to the dog's, demeanor, even if it's a friendly dog, right? And starting with touching on the back, just on the back, so it's not challenging them up near their head or face, and slowly working.
So that it's not challenging them? You just described petting a dog on the head or face as challenging them. So you're telling us that's a dangerous thing to do? That dogs will feel challenged if you pet them on the head or face? And we've heard this, don't pet them on top of the head. We heard it several times. So why are you now suggesting and advising the kids do that? You're suggesting them to go get in a dog's face, rub on its back, and then work your way up to its face and head. Okay, sir, whatever. It's a weird tutorial. Let's continue.
Yourself towards the head of the dog.
Once trust is established, a bond can be...
No. And again, young people, why would you want to touch this nasty, hideous looking thing? I mentioned with the members last night, it looked like it's got turd skin. Its face, tongue, looks like turd material. This is disgusting looking. Why would you want to touch this? Why these people act like it's some type of privilege and honor to touch these shriveled up, unsightly mutants. Look at that thing. I don't want to touch that. I wouldn't even want to place one index finger anywhere on its hideous body. Stop acting like it's some type of, high point in your life. Touching these things. Don't touch them. Look at them. They look like they'll give you something that'll cause your arms to rot. That'll eat a hole right through you. Disease-ridden, hideous monsters. That's what it looks like.
Head of the dog.
Once trust is established, a bond can be built.
They can't rub their ears, and it's a
and then
really...
that disgusting lip licking, which is basically its way of dispensing saliva on its face, nose, and mouth. Disgusting, again. And this is unsanitary. Awareness of diseases and infections went up after 2020. This ain't something we need to be looking at. This is dangerous, disgusting. And again, is this what you're instructing kids to do to keep them safe with a family pet? People, it is. This whole story is about how to keep children safe with family pets. He's giving you instructions for young people on how to prevent dog attacks. This is what you want them to do to it?
Their ears, and it's a really great way to...
You want to do that too? You want to do that too? Don't get in their face. Don't get in the dog's face. Where your face at right now? And you giving a tutorial for the young people to reduce the chances of a dog attack.
Can be built.
They can't rub their ears, and it's a really great way to show affection.
That is so
it's a real deep connection with the dog because only you can do it, right? And another dog can't. You can scratch their back or they can rub up against something or whatever. But
people, this is his tips on how to keep children safe with dogs. You want them to do this? Am I the only one that thinks this is very weird? He wins the title with this one. He got everybody beat. This is Cringe Avenue. This looked like he's really talking about some nasty stuff that I can't mention right now. But okay, buddy. I don't know how this is supposed to keep young people safe around dogs, but whatever you say. And again, these things have saliva. Most of the saliva that's on their body is around their face, nose, and mouth. Where does he walk up and kiss this disgusting thing? You suggesting they do that too? How you going to suggest they stay out of dogs' faces when you get on camera and plant a kiss on a dog's face? You can't get no closer than that. But this is your tutorial, so let's continue.
A bond can be built.
they can't rub their ears, and it's a really great way to show affection. It's a real deep connection with the dog because only you can do it, right? And another dog can't. You can scratch their back or they can rub up against something or whatever, but rubbing their ears is a...
And it's not showing affection right now at all. It's simply allowing him to rub its nasty ears. This is not affection coming from the dog. So the thing don't even appreciate what you're doing, man. A lot of people have been attacked as they've been petting and rubbing these things, as they were doing it. So how's this supposed to keep people safe? This y'all miracle solution? This your idea? Big idea on how to, keep young people safe? Okay.
And another dog can't, you can scratch their back or they can rub up against something or whatever, but rubbing their ears is a great way to start the bonding process.
The key with how...
This is so nasty. This is nasty, man. No, young people, do not do this. Don't do this. Don't stay as far away from these things as possible. That's what you do.
Household pets is to realize that every animal is special and they have personality.
These are not animals and they're not special. They are different from other animals because they're so degenerate, because they're mutants. That's why they don't behave like animals. These are mutants before they're anything else, before they're even a living and breathing entity. They're a mutant first. Nothing special about these things. They're aggressive, bloodthirsty, and nothing you have shown here is going to keep other people safe around these things. He's basically giving instructions on how adults should bond individually with their own dog so that their own dog don't attack them. That's what this sounds like this is a tutorial on. In response to kids riding their bike, minding their business, getting attacked by dogs. Okay? All right, buddy. These are y'all professionals.
And they have personalities just like people.
No, they don't. No, dogs don't have personalities like us. Don't need to get into that. Everybody knows better than that. And for you to say something like that is flawed, seeing that our brains are literally built different. The largest lobe of our brain is the smallest in a dog's brain. And the scientists just think it's inactive completely. And that's where most of our intelligence and what makes us human comes from, our frontal lobe. So what are you talking about? There ain't no similarities between our brains, and they ain't nothing like us. Okay? We don't look at young people, infants, toddlers, as objects to launch physical, deadly attacks on. They ain't nothing like us. So I beg your pardon.
People just think dogs, they're social, they get along. Some.
No. People don't. Yeah, dog lovers think that. I think they should all be driven into extinction, should be exterminated by our government. And all other governments around the world should follow suit. For our overall health and safety, this should be done. These are mutants that are deadly, that attack for fun, for sport, just for the pleasure of dominating. That's the whole idea behind forming a pack. And they form packs instinctively, which means their instinct is to fight, bully. And that's what all your training is about. Y'all trying to suppress its natural instinct to want to attack and kill, unprovoked. Y'all not fooling nobody no more. Stop thinking you got some type of special sacred knowledge that other people don't know. No, we on to you.
Just like people.
People just think dogs, they're social, they get along. Some do, some don't.
No matter how much you love
this your professional. I know you can feel the knowledge just rolling off, just falling like, an avalanche. Huh? Feel the wisdom of this guy. Sir, I question your credentials. If you got anything to say, feel free to leave it in the comment section. Nobody's going to hurt you or disrespect you. Now, some other things that took place here recently I want to touch on real quick. And again, they always come out. Here's the article that they wrote on them. They always come out with these types of stories when there's an uptick in attacks. And the uptick in attacks is usually, for whatever reason, usually a string of adults and then a string of young people, kids, including infants. What is an infant supposed to do? Is because they get attacked too. Toddlers, they get attacked too. You want them to do that too? Go kiss it, walk up, get right in its face, rub its back. What is this? They all over the place, man. Lord. Now, Action News 5. I want to quickly touch on this article surfaced March 4th, yesterday. Look at this. Look at how this reads. It's in Tennessee. Like I think a 3-year-old or something. They were called to an attack to an address in Tennessee. The dogs were originally tethered by a chain, but one had broken free. Don't that sound, pay attention now. I'm talking to myself too. Listen to these stories where the dogs break free. What made them break free? It's because they saw the child and started vigorously trying to get at them. They don't just happen to break free. Like the recent dog attack where he said the 2-year-old went back, lift up the latch. No. As somebody pointed out in the comment section of that video, those mutts saw the kid and then started trying to bust through the restraints and barriers and successfully did it. And if the dog wants to get past the fence, it's more likely they would lift the latch, just like in the videos I showed you in the other live stream. One broken free. First responders arrived. Child was still under attack. And again, this is a very common trait with bully breeds. They were bred to never stop, never stop, never stop. Even if they sustain serious injury, attack till the death. So it's usually a bully breed when you hear that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Still under attack. And by the one free dog, and the aggression escalated as officers intervened. The owner said, "Kill it, kill my dog." And the cop pulled out a gun and killed it with a single shot. You hear that? A single shot. A lot of times that's all it takes. I just don't know how effective a BB gun would be, but I've heard about dogs being shot with BB guns and, they don't like it. But once the bully breed has launched an attack, maybe even a BB gun wouldn't even work. I don't know. It's crazy. You have to kill them in order for them to cease attack. They are such killing machines. It's obvious they should be banned. They should have never been legalized to own as pets. Ridiculous. Paramedics saved the victim's life, rushed to the hospital. Dog did not survive, but the child and numerous others were saved because of the officer's decision. According to no, we're not going to celebrate the officer coming there and shooting the dog. No, we want to focus on the insanity of having the thing there in the first place. Okay? We have children in this society. Flat out. When they say it takes a village to raise a child, not owning dogs is a part of that more than anything else. If you're not doing anything for other people's families, you're doing that at the very least. That's one way people have a direct impact on others in their community. Now, if you own a killer dog and you got, 20 families around you, you're endangering all of them. All of them. they all got to restrict their behavior and freedoms, they get attacked. You help raise them by helping to keep them safe. It's not just inside of a home that's meant for safety. Civilization, neighborhoods, that's priority, safety. No, you're not going to. They present stories like this to take attention away from questioning these things in society. And that irks me. Y'all need to stop doing that. And it's not working no more. And that is why you're doing it. You're trying to take attention away from people having a discussion, questioning the dog's presence, how deadly they are.
Taking action.
What is this?
11-year-old.
City of Clinton looks to hire. Oh, this is hilarious. This is hilarious right here. Where is this? Again, this is in response to the uptick in dog attacks. This surfaced a few hours ago. This is how they're responding. It's laughable. Listen.
City of Clinton's taking action. An 11-year-old was attacked by dogs on his way to school.
Tonight, City Council discussed options and recognized those who saved the boy's life. Our Chloe Salsameda has the story you'll see only on 7.
Leaders in Clinton are working to hire an animal control officer for the city. They hope this will protect residents from attacks like the one that devastated a family last month.
Yeah, do it just like that.
Less than 3 weeks ago, 11-year-old Orion Anderson was attacked by 4 dogs while he was walking to the school bus stop.
That's blood right there.
Anderson's neighbor, Natasha Mims, saw it unfold and was able to get the dogs away from him.
The dog that really just looked like ate him alive, because at this point, I didn't know whether he was dead or alive.
Anderson was rushed to the hospital. A family friend says he's now recovering after having several surgeries.
Okay, so understand, people. This video that you're watching now is the city's response to this attack that took place in their city. Tell me if you think it's going to work.
Relax.
On Monday, Clinton City Council recognized Mims and the police officers who saved Anderson.
We have the key to the city of...
Look at that. Look at that. Okay. It's a big celebration now.
Clinton to present to Ms. Natasha.
As City Council gathered, one resident spoke out about the attack.
I beg you to please expeditiously do something about these dogs.
The city manager recommended
Do something about these dogs. This is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, now, so there's a lot of pressure on them because they brought her out. They've given her the key to the city. They're saying, hey, we really want it. We believe you. We're with you. There should be change. Things like this should never happen. We are with you. Okay, let's see what they do.
attack.
I beg you to please expeditiously do something about these dogs.
The city manager recommended to council that they hire a part-time animal control officer to patrol the city.
I'd like for them to assess
a part-time animal control officer to monitor the city? Part-time? Animal control officer?
To patrol the city. The city manager recommended to council that they hire a part-time animal control officer to patrol the city.
Just one dude.
To assess the community and see what it
one
takes.
Dude.
Recommended to council that they hire a part-time animal control officer to patrol the city.
I'd like for them to assess the community and see what it takes, make the rounds, see how long it takes to cover different neighborhoods, and probably on call as well, because you know you have those emergency situations that pop up, and I'd like for them to be able to jump in a truck or the van and try to be on scene as soon as possible.
Oh my goodness. Oh, bless their heart, huh? That's their solution. Put one guy in a truck and ride around the city. They ride around. Put him on call. Hey, there's a dog attack over here. How long is it going to take you to get there? 20 minutes. All right, on my way. One dude. This animal control officer, they don't carry guns. Here's a dog attack. I don't know, 2-3 pit bulls. What he gonna do? Even if it was a team of people, that's not gonna prevent no attacks. And what are the chances of them riding around and randomly seeing a dog attack and stopping it or preventing it? What are the chances of that happening? Y'all see what I mean? These people drive me crazy. Y'all gotta stop this. Stop this madness. Address this thing, man. We don't need dogs. If they're gonna be doing stuff like this, we just don't need them. Stop sending the general public into the twilight zone. Stop this.
See how long it takes to cover different neighborhoods, and probably on call as well, because you have those emergency situations that pop up, and I'd like for them to be able to jump in a truck or the van and try to be on the scene as soon as possible.
Be on the scene as soon as possible. So again, that's insane.
To the city manager, Clinton currently pays Lawrence County $30,000 a year to have its animal control officers monitor Clinton.
$30,000 for their animal control officer to monitor the city? Most attacks take place inside the home. Walk with me here. Walk with me here. Most attacks take place inside the home, usually involving a family dog. Now, the victims are usually 13 and under. What are y'all gonna do? What are y'all gonna do? But you're pretty much what cops already basically do this. Animal control, that's a step down from cops. You better off calling cops. At least they'll show up with a real gun and be able to immediately stop the attack. An animal control officer roll up, that attack is going to keep going. It's not going to stop until the cop get there. So what is this? This is nothing. And that's what it was intended to be. Nothing. Oh, we love you. We love you. Oh, our citizens. Let's give her the key to the city. Oh, come here, young lady. They putting them on the microphone, letting them speak, making them feel special, embracing them. Oh, yeah, we're with you. What are we going to do? Put one joker in a truck, have him drive around part-time. Okay.
And try to be on scene as soon as possible.
According to the city manager, Clinton currently pays Lawrence County $30,000 a year to have its animal
wasting money
monitor Clinton.
We've got several officers patrolling all of Lawrence County, but we need somebody here.
The city manager says it will cost $160,000 a year to employ a part-time officer.
Wow. Wow. It won't cost that much to put them all down. Just euthanize them. That is very cost friendly. Take all of the bully breeds, all of the Huskies, all of the German Shepherds, all of the Doberman Pinschers, St. Bernards. I think those bully breeds too, though. Euthanize all of them. And then monitor the statistics and see if they change. They're guaranteed to change. See if serious attacks like this change. If you euthanize all bully breeds, you will see changes in the statistics. You will. But that might not be forever. Because if all those previous bully breed owners now have German Shepherds or Huskies, the statistics might be the same. I don't know. Because those are very aggressive dogs too. But they don't attack for as long, and they just don't inflict on average as much damage, and they're easier to deter from the attack. It's more difficult to stop bully breed from attacking.
He hopes to bring that person on as soon as possible.
If we can find the funding through the police department right now, we probably start looking that direction now. And we're right around the corner from our next year's budget, but we're not going to wait. We're going to do what we can immediately.
The city manager says he plans to present a budget amendment at next.
Wow. Notice how they don't even go for realistic solutions like a mandatory muzzle when these things are outside. That is not far-fetched. That's actually, that would show that people have at least some intelligence about themselves, that they're thinking of safety in some way. They don't even suggest mandatory muzzle outside. It's crazy. They truly tried to do nothing. They try their best here in the United States to do absolutely nothing. And definitely do not talk about a ban. A ban? You only remove bans here in the United States. All in other parts of the world, they implement them. In the U.S., they remove them. If they're going to do anything, they're going to remove them. This is the worst country. Worst country for dog attacks. It needs to change. Anybody not holding their own, the culture of their country up to scrutiny, you don't care about its evolution. I don't want to hear nothing.
Present a budget amendment at next month's meeting so they can move forward with hiring an animal control officer. In Clinton, Chloe Salsmeda, 7 News.
Yeah, okay. Okay. They're trying to, listen, people, our culture is falling apart. And I'm saying the culture of everybody in this country. I don't care what you are. I don't care your race, nationality. You're becoming more and more non-human, subhuman, degenerate. Snap out of it. What is wrong with people? This is crazy. This is crazy. Now, this was that article that Animals 24/7 did, which is a pretty smart thing to do, smart statistics to put out. Because again, imagine if this were a toy that killed 4 toddlers in 10 days. Do y'all know the president would be talking about this toy? I guarantee you, at least the vice president, some people all across in politics would mention that toy. Yeah, I heard about that toy. 4 toddlers in 10 days? And that's just toddlers. Ridiculous. When it comes to dog attacks, which inflict the most damage, they do the least. They do the least in response to the most terrible type of attack. A backwards culture. Backwards. This is the era of Aleister Crowley. That is what this is. And keep in mind, sacrifices are associated with Baphomet. I mentioned that the Knights Templar worshiped Baphomet. Well, Aleister Crowley did as well. All your entertainers, they all into that back, and it's Baphomet is about backwardness. It's just Satanism. And that's basically, essentially what's going on here. And it's present everywhere else too. I'm just showing how it's present in dog culture. What's being promoted is backwardness in every possible arena. Every possible arena. Y'all could probably go on with that discussion longer than I could. Right, shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. Y'all be sure to check out my man K Nunn Official, who is impressive orator. I love those AI generated voices, because it's not, there's just something about it that I think is very clever. I used to use them, but back in the day, they weren't this good. You had to use periods as you wrote it in order for it to sound proper. But these new ones, a lot better. And like I said, I believe K9 Official is going to keep a successful or have a successful channel. It's going to be a big channel, I believe, in the future. A lot of our channels, I think, eventually going to be big channels. Ban All Dogs, too, I think, does content, right? Ban All Dogs. All right, shout out to the members. As always, I will chop it up with you all each night after I get off of work. Yusuf Mambo, shout out to Ashar, who's left the link. I will check that out. Cheryl Martin, Mr. Payne in the house. Esmeralda in the house. Are we staying away from dogs? How many of y'all copped you a BB gun or something? I know some of y'all rolling around with blowtorches and shotguns. There's some extreme, man. There's some people in the crusade, man. They're about that business. People got laser, infrared, and grenades. Don't do that. No, I'm done. Only in self-defense, and don't use grenades. You're gonna do it in self-defense. Ain't that a shame though? How they force us to become dangerous ourselves in order to protect ourselves from these things. And look at that. I mean, my goodness. In the family, to this family right here, think about this response to this dog attack. People, please, if y'all see this video, y'all know that's worthless? Putting a man in a truck part-time, have him riding around, and then you gonna call him if there's ever an attack. He gonna show up with a fishnet, a fishnet and a Twizzler. Then he gonna have to call the cops himself. That was a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face. Give me a key with a key on a plaque. Tell me you're gonna plop a guy in a truck half the day, riding around with binoculars. Ridiculous, man. So I'm gonna keep up with these people. I'm gonna see if I can follow them or something on social media. We need to wake the world up, man. It's time for people to start paying attention to these raggedy mutants over here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you all. We'll see you on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.